Right, where to start? I've been caught off guard. Just saw Brian Harvey's video called "The Fight Back Begins." I received it today via YouTube, and I said, "Right, we'll put that on hold, and I'll watch it later on." An hour and 8 minutes, I think, something like that. And I was sort of expecting things like, this person representing this company or working for this institution saying such and such to such and such, and just a bit of backbiting, I suppose. But a lot of meaningful truth within the video. And I just thought to myself, I can't deny a lot of the things within the video being of a truthful nature. I've done videos to support Brian when he was having trouble last year, I think. But it seems that things are evolving with his situation, and seems to be going through a process of victimisation from the upper echelons or whoever's attacking him, because he's and credit where credit's due, he's making a stand and coming out with some valid points. I watched the video. I think one of the first points I saw was the mental health system within this country is fucked. Completely agree. It's used, it's manipulated, and there has been a lot of victimisation through that, in my opinion. I've witnessed people, sort of the things that Brian said about how the staff mistreat people within it, or they aren't qualified, and that's very visible. And yeah, again, credit where credit's due for making a stand. He was very used profanity. I may use profanity within this video, but hopefully not as much as what Brian was using. But I can totally understand why, and I can totally understand the amount and yeah, but I'm just sort of trying to reel off some of the points that he made, and give an opinion of my own about how I feel, having experienced and seen situations that I've seen, and how they relate. The situations being in hospital, being where you've got one person maybe very nice, says the right things, and knows how to treat someone in a virtuous way, in a kind way, and then you've got other people who just very take advantage and use bully boy tactics to intimidate and try to put people down. Brian goes on to say that there's people playing God with people's lives, not just in the mental health system. I mean, it's like it's encouraged throughout our society. I mean, let's be fucking honest. And it's it is stupid how it is at the moment. People within all sectors, but I hasten to make the point that there's good and bad, in all. So obviously, people go through things. They may get somebody who's very difficult, very condescending towards them, but at the same time, there might be somebody on reception or somebody at the side who just sees what's going on. For example, being in hospital recently, there's one person who was very sour, shutting curtains really fast and what have you, and just making it known that she was in a bad mood. But at the same time, doctor that saw me was very, very decent man, came across as virtuous, and the nurse that was working with him came across and brought a cup of tea. She was very polite, one of the nicest people that I've ever come across, and I suppose it would have come across like that at that time because you're in hospital and you're feeling like shit. It's nice to see somebody with a smile and a cup of tea sort of being nice to you. But yeah, just the good and bad sort of situation. But then he went on to say about how people from other countries look at our country and must, we're the laughing stock of the world. I think he's very visible. Yeah, America doesn't come across that well at the moment either, but it's sort of the sort of systematic destruction, and it's almost like a self-destruction because people are just going along with it, and sort of blame the government, and then but there's a definite within my life, I've always said, you don't have to go along with it. You don't have to be egocentric. You don't have to be condescending to people. You don't have to push at people with sales taxes. You don't have to be an arsehole, There's a lot of arseholes who adopt this behaviour because they want to be somebody. Well, you know what? You're not going to achieve fuck all by being like that with people. And some of us work that out from the start, and realise that, it's about being virtuous and being a human being in the real sense of the word, not trying to be something that you think will give you, that denying your humanity. Yeah, so that was another observation. The corruption within the system. He sort of highlights names of certain people. I haven't had any sort of interaction with these people, so I'm not going to say, but these names keep coming up, and he has his own thing with them, and issues with their behaviour. With regards to behaviour, I think because we've adopted this corrupt for quite a while now, sort of had it pushed and encouraged, and then people have adopted it, and by adopting these things, immorality has crept in, and now we are in a very immoral, unjust society. So, thanks for going along with that. I'm feeling a bit sort of, but, I have to say that Brian's damn right about that. Damn right about how our society's turned out is, it is. You look around and it's shit. So, you know, that was another point. Then he moved on to these people who work in these positions, who his sort of estimation was that 60% probably are sort of qualified, decent people, but there's a sort of quite a few, sort of 40% say that don't have the right attributes to be doing the job that they're doing. Me myself, I've seen situations where you've got people with MVQ level 2 in business as fucking counsellors, and you sort of what the fucking hell's going on here? And those people are like taking control of someone's life, convinced by all these sort of methods that are used in psychology. And it's wrong to be using these methods on people and intervening in people's lives. When I suppose that the training is from, well, I mean, you go back to the beginning of this sort of start of methodology, and you sort of like, who are the people, the inspirational gurus? Well, Carl Jung, what was he known as? Hitler's medicine man, yeah? And, you sort of, these are where all these ideas initially started, with the Nazis, so come on, get a grip, realise what the fuck's going on. I mean, I've known about this for a while, but because somebody's putting something out there, showing a bit of front, I'm just going to say myself that, again, like I did in the other video, that, I support Brian and what he's saying. Because it's to the point. It affects us all via the ripple effect. And it's like, I mean, it's going to come out sooner or later. But the sooner we do it, the less damage. What, to the next generation and the next generation? It's fucking affected mine. And I'm just like, why should it, Why are people sort of acting in a cowardly sort of succumbing to this bullshit sort of just go along with it, Just fucking wake up and grow some bollocks. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm backing him up with that. And yeah, people can't pretend to be blind, because I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who've gone along with things, pretending not to notice and things. I also know that there's people who've gone along with things who are very aware of what's going on, but they're frightened of the consequences. Maybe that's fair enough, and they know if they hold on for the right time, then their input and their input has been great, from just being who they are, because they are virtuous people. There is some really good people, really nice people who have had input and looked after people while all this shit's been going on, while all this corrupt method all these corrupt methods have been encouraged, you know, to make our society as messed up as it is. Right, so yeah, um, uh, I'm very, I didn't want to react like, oh yes, totally go along and really aggressively support and stuff, maybe be a bit tactful, sort of have my own, you know, but after watching it, there's a lot of it that does hit hard. And then I saw one of the comments. One of the comments was, "This is very difficult to watch," and I I just thought, well, damn right it is, damn right it is difficult to watch. I'm just trying to get up a quote. Why the bloody hell did that come up? Something about George Orwell, one of the sayings that George Orwell came out with. Something about it being difficult anyway. And it's always a minority that will say it and say it how it is. That person who said that was difficult to watch probably realizes, you know, that is, you know, it's undeniable. Because we are at that point, I think. But I think as well, if you're watching something where somebody's breaking it down and saying there's all this activity going on, people are behaving like this behind closed doors, there's all this deception and there's all these people telling lies, and you sort of like, I never knew any of that. Really? You know, this sort of reaction, it takes a lot of time to digest, and it also may push that person to question their own connections, their own networks within which they are involved, and the people and who they speak to, and everything. A lot of questions can be raised as a result of people coming out with truth. You know, I would imagine it can turn things upside down because people recognize that, bloody hell, you know, that minority who everybody never give any credit to has had his finger on the button all along. Or that minority who's been persecuted and made to look very foolish is actually right. You know? And I think it's this, you know, and you've got all these people in suits and all these people in institutions walking around day to day as if everything's normal, and they're being deceitful. So, it is a a difficult thing, and obviously that person reacting, responding, was finding it difficult. And yeah, there was that George Orwell saying in I think when things lies and deceit, the truth is a revolutionary act. I think I've quoted that once before, and And whether you like it or not, it is important, because because lies and deceit, all that leads to is confusion. When you're confused, you don't know what direction you're going in. When you don't know what direction you're going in, well, you're not going to find happiness, are you? It's very simple, but very hard for people to take. I suppose if somebody's going in the wrong direction and then somebody says you need to go the other way, it's difficult. No, I suppose I'm pissed off that Brian's pissed off. Yeah, I've always thought of it being a minority. I know a few people who see the victimisation, people abusing the mental health system to victimise people and all that sort of stuff. It's like everybody knows that goes on. Everybody knows that it has been used to for the wrong reasons by shady people. I'll say shady because you sort of like you got to question if you're using these methods to sort of upset people, and you've got people like Frank Bruno and Brian Harvey from E17 and many others, sort of being called into question. I mean, I remember seeing Frank Bruno when he went through it, and he was very distressed about things but it does raise questions about the entire thing, and I think we're just at a level now where it's pretty fucking obvious, and yeah, so doing a video as a result of that. Like I say, I've done these 2 supportive videos. I've had over 200 views according to the thing, to each of them, which is quite high. I don't have any subscribers hardly, and it's like bloody hell. But there's a lot of interest in this Brian Harvey situation, so and what he said in that video, it just really credit where credit's due, and when I did that video, I did it. It was like moral obligation to stand up for somebody who's not feeling too good about things. Now he's done that thing as a result of what's going on. I'm sort of like, well, he's he's putting a front up, and I do feel like a moral obligation to recognise that, whether it be for the country, for the next generation, for the kids, for the younger people, we've had all this shit people talking about fucking Brexit at barbecues, and whoever can of Fosters and some chicken wings and a few sausages, and and life's brilliant. It's fucking shit when there's so many people sort of living that shit life of not fucking knowing what's actually going on. And, so a bit of a reality check. And, I do think it's gone too far where people with supposedly good families, if you like, have been attacked, or you sort of getting to a point where yeah, he's just sort of stepped over a line, I think. And like I say, just want to give my support. Love and blessings.